Well, hello and welcome to the channel. Are we ready for week 22 update for Icarus? I am here as usual with Gao. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Excited about this new update.
Good. Welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, anytime.
Alrighty. Well, week 22 is all about exotic extraction. So, just before we jump into it, what are your thoughts?
I took the time, I had the time today to quickly go through them. And first thing I thought when I read this was, a couple of weeks ago I was talking about how exotics were too easy to come by, it being the premium game currency.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they heard it, and yeah, they changed it. Sure, it might become harder to get exotics, but it will increase their value again. So,
yeah,
I'm happy with that.
Yes, and it will also increase the gameplay it takes to actually obtain them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay. Icarus Week 22 update, exotic extraction. New scanners, extractions, and locations change up to how you mine exotics. Well, let's get into it. This week, we're making some significant changes as improvements to how you discover and extract exotics. Exotic deposit randomization is the most prominent of these, changing how deposits are spawned into the map and adding variety and challenge to your drops. Well, yeah, I mean, if they're going to be randomizing where the exotic veins spawn, then of course it's going to add more interest into the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. That's gonna be interesting. To complement this change, we are improving our scanning and extraction systems with Tier 3 and Tier 4 radars and extractors, and new workshop radars and extractors for the high-end prospector. This work helps lay further foundations for us to improve the late-game experience and the entire exotics loop. Nice.
Yeah, and like indeed improve the late game experience. Because right now it's basically we just hop in a mission, we do the mission a bit, and it becomes more of the same. So yeah, I like it that they make improvements to this late game experience.
Yeah,
If you call that late game experience, I do. But
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I like the fact that they're changing it up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Would you mind reading the comment from Dean Hall, please, whilst I clear my throat?
Yeah. So improving the exotics loop in late game is something we need to approach with a delicate touch. Efforts in this direction will be carefully rolled out in updates like this, so we can test and adjust our changes as we go. We have many different activities going on, such as balancing work, new content, future DLC plans, optimizations, multiplayer improvements, etc., all at the same time, but with different cadences. They don't always line up exactly with our update schedule, so some weeks may be more content focused, other weeks may be more foundational or feature focused. Actually, one of the first times they are talking about future DLC. Does this mean that the DLCs are getting closer? I wonder.
That's interesting. yes. I mean, I think one of the things when you get a new game that that you play on a very regular basis, like we do with Icarus, one of the things that you start looking for after 3 or 4 months worth of gameplay is, oh, wonder when the next DLC is going to come out.
Yep.
And yes, absolutely, that's one of the first times that they've mentioned that.
Yep.
So, mm,
Uh,
it's getting exciting.
oh yeah, it is.
All right. So we have an image there of what looks to be the new scanner.
Yeah.
Um, exotic deposit randomization.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Interesting concept. And a
Yeah,
long awaited one for that as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like with the Icarus Intel map, we always knew where they were, and it meant we didn't need the scanners. All we had to do is just create the extractors from the fabrication table. Um, and then run to wherever it was, place it down with the biofuel can, and get going. But now it makes it much more interesting because now it requires you to use the scanner in order to find where they are for whatever map
Kinda.
you're doing, and
Kinda. If you
they're not going to be in the same place on the same map all the time.
well, if you read the text here, where previously exotic matter spawns locations have been fixed and consistent, this is changing. The location of exotic deposits is now randomized, and you'll have to scan to find them afresh each drop. That would indicate, yes, you're right. However, the next alinea says each prospect will have a selection of potential exotic spawning points, but which ones are active will be randomized and different each time you drop on a new prospect. This makes exotics difficult to map and will encourage you to scout and discover rather than memorizing locations. So you get like, say, 8 spots, 3 of them will contain an exotic vein. You can still run to each of the 8 spots, but if they're scattered across the map, it might be faster to scan.
Yes.
So you know which of those 8. We're still going to use Icarus Intel for the precise location of the exotic veins,
Hmm.
but using the scanner and especially sorry, and especially the new one, you don't have to spend a lot of time on the planet to build them anymore. Scanner will become more used, definitely.
Yes. And I think
But we
that's
still,
key.
yeah,
I think that's key because we've had the scanners for quite a long time, but as a
we rarely
result of
use them
the Icarus
anymore.
Intel map, I don't think many people have been using them.
Exactly.
So yeah, it makes for a much more interesting drop, that's for sure.
Like I said, you can still run to each location and see, hey, is it a vein here at this time or is a vein there at this time? But at least they put some randomized factor in play. And actually, we have been discussing this during gameplay before, where we basically came up with this as a possible solution for bringing the random factor into the whole exotics locations. Like
Yes.
you can't, because the maps are basically handmade, not procedurally generated. You can't just fully randomize the location off, because then it might be on top of a mountain you can't reach. It can be in a river you can't reach. The bottom of a lake where you can't put a drill down or whatever. So
Yes.
this is a very good compromise in my opinion.
Yes. I agree. I totally agree. And then they say, we will be monitoring the impact of this change as the increase in difficulty requires fine balancing. So keep providing your feedback and experiences to us on feature upvote.
Yeah. There will obviously be people who are going to say it is too hard now because I have to do some actual work to find the exotics. But like the increase in difficulty for an experienced player, this is not an increase in difficulty,
No, it's
to
just
be
an
honest.
increase in gameplay time. It's an increase in material requirements, which ultimately just gives you an increase in what's the word I'm looking for? Um, an increase in the amount of fun that you can have.
Yeah,
But
satisfaction.
that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, gameplay satisfaction, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love all that.
Oh yeah, me too. Because yes, I love Icarus, but at some point, uh, it becomes a bit more of the same.
Yes.
So yeah, hey, spicing things up a bit. Me like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm actually really enjoying these weekly updates, because it means that with exception to hot fixes that are required outside the normal routine, you know when the next drop is going to come down, you know when the next update is going to be released, and you
Yep.
always know that there's something different coming.
Yeah.
And
And
variety
yes,
is
the
a
one.
spice. Variety is a spice of life, and I love the fact that they do that on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Yes, the one time you have more content focused update, and the other time more feature focused.
Yeah,
Like last week, Rustic updates. I like it, but didn't really add much to gameplay.
no, no,
This
but
one is gonna change your gameplay again, which I like.
yes, I mean, I think the last time we had an update that had a major impact on gameplay was the temperature update, where we were now going to be more affected by heat and cold.
Yep. Things like the deep veins, indeed the temperature rework.
Yes,
Uh, yeah, definitely.
yes. So I love the fact that they're constantly adding um, new things to it. They're changing the gameplay. They're keeping
Yeah.
it fresh and exciting. So, excuse me. Sorry, I have a really dry throat today. Pardon me.
Oh, you're
Um,
not the only one. I have a drink right next to me. So.
yeah, yeah, me too. Okay, let's get on with this. We have a comment here from Adam, the game designer, or a game designer, I should say. And he says, with a static system, players could learn exactly where deposits are for each prospect and then circumvent a bunch of gameplay loops, which is exactly what everybody was doing.
Yeah.
Beelining it straight to the deposits. And we're guilty of that. We did exactly the same thing.
Yep.
As a result, we found that many players weren't engaging with the radar scanning system to locate deposits because they already knew where they were.
Yeah.
Very true. Now, with exotics spawning randomly at a number of potential locations, players will need to engage with radar mechanics in order to locate them, which has knock-on effects such as encouraging players to establish a base and get geared up first. Well, let me just say at the end of that sentence that there's absolutely no way you're going to be drilling for exotics unless you have established a base and got your gear set up first.
Yep. But we're not talking about 1x2 with just a crafting bench and a bedroll.
No.
We're talking about a proper base with concrete furnace at least.
A
And for radar,
fabricator
even,
and electronics, etc.
Yeah. The what's the thing called where you make composites? The material processor for radar.
Yes.
I mean, if they had changed it where the radar does not need composites, but the extractor does, then you have to go through radar to get to extractor.
Yes.
But now you can make the extractor, but then you have to additionally build the material processor before you can build a scanner. So yeah, I'm not going to build a scanner. I already have the extractor, and I'll just use my memory, i.e. Icarus Intel, to find the deep vein locations.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they would have changed this, people would be using the radar more. But then people would be probably complaining like it's too hard to craft the extractor.
Yeah.
Or too hard. You have to do too much work.
Yeah. So moving on then, we say as part of this change, we're also introducing radars and extractors to both Tier 3 and the orbital workshop. With players now able to bring down extractors with them at the start of the drop, it was more important than ever that we implemented this feature. We understand that for the min-maxers out there, this makes obtaining exotics more difficult, but they were never intended to be an easy get. Those looking to obtain exotics as quickly as possible may want to invest in the workshop items as they let you hit the ground running the fastest. But be aware, with this advanced equipment also comes advanced hostility from the local wildlife.
Yeah. Like I said, the exotics is the premium currency in the game. Don't make it too easy.
Yeah. So that basically means that if you're taking the workshop extractor and scanner, etc., you're going to experience more attacks on the extractors from the local wildlife. So if you're in the Arctic, it's going to be wolves and cougars and polar bears. In the desert, it's going to be scorpions and cougars and boars and hyenas, etc., etc. And I think that makes for a more interesting gameplay from the point of view of where we used to set up the drills and go into a completely different area of the map so that they didn't get attacked.
Well, this might still be true. However, we did also like put the drills down and then faff around a bit around the house. Test gravity, like from how high a cliff can you jump without dying, stuff like that. Now you will need to pay more attention to your extractors because they will be attacked.
Yes.
Me like that.
And
the tier 3 stuff, by the way, The tier 3 radar and extractor are biofuel powered. Basically, the old extractor is now the tier 3 one. We have a new biofuel radar. The old radar is gone. There is a new radar which uses electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you heard it correct. It uses electricity. And a new extractor which uses electricity. The extractor and the electric extractor and electric radar, those are the two from the machining bench. You still have those blueprints if you had them already. They still have the same material cost. However, you will now need an electricity source. So if you make the radar, you already need composites. So you're most likely going to make a solar panel as well to power it. And the new tier 3 stuff, actually the extractor is the same as the drill. Not a deep mining drill, but the one you use to drill through the rock wall in the cave towards the desert. That one has now been repurposed as the tier 3 biofuel extractor, which uses biofuel like the old one. And there is a new biofuel radar, which also needs biofuel.
Yeah.
Biofuel is becoming more important.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And yeah, me like it is. Me like it is changes.
Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so let's have a look at the tier 3 and tier 4 radars and extractors. That's a really nice photo just above it, actually.
Yep.
Okay, we have added new radars and extractors at tier 3 and tier 4 to replace the existing ones and help you find better, help you better find and mine those exotics deposits. As you were just talking about, tier 3 radars or extractor requires biofuel, and the tier 3 radar and extractor are biofuel powered and provide low cost, moderate return systems with a low chance to attract animal wildlife. Both provide a strong early option for the less advanced prospector with moderate efficiency and accuracy, and a more easily accessible fuel to reduce the investment to deploy. So yes, you're right enough. The biofuel is becoming more important now.
Yeah. And also you can make a radar without even having to make a fabricator. In the machining bench, you can now already make a radar. So, yeah, what I was saying before, the radar was too much effort to craft because you had to go all the way to material processor. This has been changed now as well because you can already make them from the machining bench.
Yes, so they've taken it
Easier,
down a level.
yeah, easier accessible. Yeah, they added one down a level. Easier
Yes.
accessible. So yeah, of course you're gonna. You're gonna make more use of the radar because you can already craft it from the machining bench, and it ain't that pricey either. 12 iron, 12 copper, 10 gold ingots, 8 iron nails, and 2 glass. I mean, meh.
That's not very expensive, really, to be honest.
Exactly.
It's far more accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accessible, and you don't have to grind hours to get to the radar. No, the machining bench, you have put it up in what, half an hour? Hour tops?
Yeah.
Less than an hour, and you already have a machining bench running.
Yeah.
If you have teammates who are used to interact with one another, I mean, if our team plays, the machining bench is definitely up within half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, even if there's only half a team, in essence, even if it's only just you and me,
yeah,
we can get to the fabricator within an hour.
Easily.
So it's almost automatic for us to go for us to go straight for the fabricator if we know that the mission requires things made in the fabricator. For example, the extractors. So,
me likey.
oh yeah. So, do you want to take us through the Tier 4 radar and extractor for the electrics?
Yep. So the Tier 4 radar and extractor provide a substantial improvement on the Tier 3 alternatives, but require a more advanced fueling system in electricity. In turn, they provide higher scanning speeds and higher precision, but their increased activity is more likely to attract local foes, so keep your wits about you. And yes, where the Tier 3 radar has a plus 10% animals attracted, the electric one has plus 25% animals attracted.
Yeah.
But it gives you plus 15% scanning speed and plus 20% precision. And looking at the extractor, the Tier 4 ones, doesn't attract more wildlife, or at least not according to the tooltip. But it is 33% faster.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to testing these out.
Yeah.
All
I'm not
right.
even going to talk about the workshop stuff, because that's coming here.
Alrighty. Workshop radar and extractor and biofuel. Okay. The most advanced of the radar and extractors added to the pool is the IC001 radar and the IC001 extractor. These are purchasable through the workshop and require a new fuel source. IC001 prototype power source, which is also purchasable alongside them. That's interesting.
Yeah. So we were talking about this at some point as well. Wouldn't it be nice if you could bring the radar and/or extractor back up to the orbital station, and in the next prospect bring them down again, so you don't have to craft them again?
Yeah.
Well, now you can bring stuff down.
Yeah, and take it back up, fix it, and bring it back down on your next drop.
Exactly.
Excellent. So now we're looking at the workshop radar, the extractors, and the biofuel. Would you be kind enough to take us through those 3 paragraphs, please?
Righto. So the IC001 radar is the most advanced system we have released to date, requiring no energy source and providing the highest precision and speed out of all available options. In turn, it's also the most likely to attract animals, requiring you to be on guard at all times. Plus 50% animals attracted. So, yeah. The IC001 extractor is the most powerful extractor we've introduced also, which provides a lot more durability and runs on a very special power source. Its high performance requires a previously unavailable source of energy available in the workshop as the IC001 prototype power source. This self-sustaining unit can extract up to 600 exotics per prospect, but cannot be brought back to the station. Once it's empty, throw it away. To make it very clear, this is not the extractor, which is only limited to 600 and has to be thrown away afterwards. This is the power source.
Yes.
Crafting cost only 50 Ren, so meh. Throw it away, so what? It's just 50 Ren.
Yes. Yes.
And they've also added the MXC fuel canister as a container which can carry biofuel. It comes pre-filled and will refill every time the player returns to orbit if it is brought back. So
Excellent.
you hit the ground running, you can start your mission with a filled biofuel can.
Yes. And as with your workshop items, it will replenish itself every time you take it back up to the station.
Exactly.
As long as you remember to take it back up to the station.
Yeah.
Because one of the
So
things that we've been doing regularly, especially when it comes down to exotics, is when we, like if we're on a prospect that has 2 or 3 exotic veins, we have a tendency to run the extractors from vein 1 to vein 2, and then we'll carry those same extractors to vein 3. But then once we're done, we just leave everything there and head back to the dropship.
exactly.
So we literally just ditch it.
Yeah.
But
I
now,
mean, you can't do anything with it anymore anyway, so you can bring it back to base and leave it in base.
but that's just an extra slot on your inventory that's just been filled.
Although it is utility slot, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the biofuel can, you just leave it in the extractor on the empty vein. Because why bring it back?
Yeah. Well,
Now, however, yes.
you have a
I'm gonna
reason.
bring it back.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh crap, I forgot my biofuel can. I can see people having to run halfway across the map to go and get it now.
Well, if it's that far, a biofuel canister is only 75 Rand. If it's that far, I might be like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't be bothered to run back and pick it up again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
definitely the fact that you can drop down with a filled biofuel can, I like that.
Oh yes, yes, hit the ground running for sure.
Yep.
If you've just joined us, we are going through week 22's Icarus weekly update. Drop your thoughts and have a chat with us in the chat box, and we will discuss it. That's why we call these Let's Discuss. I'm here with Cornet Gao.
Hello.
And we are just about maybe halfway through. So
Yeah.
there is a note here, though, and that says,
One thing more about the radar and the extractor. The radar, the workshop one, it says in the text here, like the highest precision and speed. The tier 4 has plus 15% speed. The workshop item 25% speed. The workshop, the tech 3 tier 4 radar says plus 20% precision. The workshop one is plus 33% radar precision.
yes.
The tier 4 one is plus 25% animals attracted. Workshop one plus 50. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The
that's
extractor,
huge.
by the way, the tier 4 extractor has the tooltip plus 33% drill speed. The same goes for the workshop one. Although the text here says, what does it not? Oh no, sorry, I thought it said it's fast as well, but it doesn't say in the text here. Good.
Okay. Okay.
So it's equally fast, but has more durability.
Right.
And
Okay.
runs on the special power source.
Excellent. I'd like to say hello and welcome to Plain Jane. Good to see you. Welcome back.
Hello.
This note here at the bottom says, existing radars and extractors players have on prospects will still work the way they used to, but upon leaving them behind on your prospect, they will be gone forever. So enjoy them whilst they last. In other words, Don't forget your stuff. Pick it up and take it home.
No, this is more like players who started the prospect before the update. If they
Yes.
already had crafted scanners and or extractors, sure, they're still there. They still work, but you can't craft them anymore. Also, any new prospects, they won't work anymore. So you can use them on the prospect you're still on, but once it's over, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we're on to changes to how to bring workshop items to the planet. Now, this is very specific.
Yeah.
So pay close attention, peeps. Since you can now bring non-equipable items like radars and extractors with you from orbit, we have changed where you will find them when you arrive on the planet. Player loadouts now come down in your dropship inventory, not your character's inventory. But don't worry, you haven't lost the items, they're just in a different place.
This has caused confusion already from what I saw on the Icarus Discord channel. People like, hey, I dropped down and my inventory is empty. I thought I fixed this. And then, yeah, but did you read the patch notes? And then they were like, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Literally.
it really doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me to the point where, as you've just heard, it is laughable.
Yeah. Yeah, they hadn't, like I said, they hadn't read the patch notes, and they were like, I know there was this issue, it's supposed to be fixed. Now I'm dropping down and have nothing in my inventory, and they haven't fixed the issue yet, and why? And then people are like, yeah, have you read the patch notes? Have you checked your dropship inventory? And then people look at the dropship inventory, and then they say, oops, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, oops. Okay, so now
Oh, well.
now we're moving on to the backend architecture, tooling, and support. Now, the description itself, you know, the title itself doesn't actually mean very much to me. I'm not a tech individual. So let's ask Corne to read through the next couple of paragraphs.
Basically, backend is on Rocketworks side, Rocketworks server.
Okay.
Servers. So they added some, or they changed some in the tooling and support, in like how they handle the systems. So as a part of the long-term changes to the backend architecture, which stores player progress, we've improved the tooling that allows us to support player activities. Specifically, this gives us much easier access to assess and write problems that have occurred due to bugs when playing in online mode. Please contact us if you have lost exotics and need assistance. And yes, I've seen the post in the Icarus Discord. Like last week already. Hey, if you lost your workshop items, send an email to support and include your Steam ID and what you lost due to this missing loadout bug.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people. Yeah, I sent a mail. Yeah, I got the stuff back. Good. So they're actively working on it, and apparently they even made some tooling for it, so to semi-automate this, making it easier for them, so they don't have to spend a lot of time on manually fixing things. So good.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is a very new package of work, so we didn't have time for this week to provide a detailed explanation of what it is and how it works. This will follow in next week's update. So stay tuned for next week's update to find out more about this tooling and support.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I like the fact that they admit, look, we haven't had time for this, we haven't done this, but stay tuned because we'll give you that next week, or we'll give you that in a couple of weeks, or you know, it's. I like the fact that the Rocketworks team keeps you informed that way.
Yeah, people were complaining like they don't keep us informed. Now they do. They tell you like, hey, we know about this, we've worked on this, we haven't had time to like fully explain what we did, but we will be giving you this info next week.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
So we will be extensively overhauling our backend architecture over future updates, plural, as we look to improve the game and better support the needs of the community. Because they got a lot of heat from the issues which arose due to the power outages they had, like, 2 weeks ago. They got
Yeah.
a lot of heat there. But they are gonna extensively overhaul their server architecture, their backend architecture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people who said they don't do anything about it, well, they are doing anything. They are doing stuff about it, and we will get more information in the future.
Yeah, they're always doing stuff about it. They're all, I mean, I find it very difficult to understand how people can diss the fact that, or say, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that and I don't like the next thing. And the simple fact of it is they do keep you informed. They do try to stay on top of issues and problems. And as with a couple of weeks ago when they had the power outages on their end, that's not their fault.
Now, I have to admit they were lacking a bit in communication there. I agree with the people who said like they should have done a bit more communication. It's not that they say Rocket's work doesn't make mistakes. They do. They should have kept us a bit better informed. But they are doing it now. They learned.
Yes. And that is indicative of a team that is interested in the community feedback. So I think that's huge. So now we come to the detailed change log, which is a little bit longer than was last week because there's 2 or 3 things very specifically which needs to be discussed. So to start with, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items that have been covered above, and I'll just quickly scan through them. They've added exotic deposits randomization so that deposits will now be random within a set of possible locations for a given prospect.
Yeah.
They've also
basically recapping. You have now X amounts where there is a possible exotics deposit. So, for example, there are 8 possible locations. Random 3 of those 8 have a deposit.
Yes. And that brings new interest and intrigue to the game.
Yeah.
They have added 3 new radars and extractors.
Basically added 2 and changed the existing ones. But yeah.
Yeah. They've added the feature where extractors and radars can be damaged and destroyed.
Well, I could be mistaken, but we have had animals attack the extractors and destroying them before.
Yes. So, but maybe this is more to do with the new pieces that we're getting as opposed to the pieces we already had, because as you say, we have already experienced, especially extractors being attacked and damaged, and we've even had a few destroyed.
Maybe we had to sneak preview. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Radars, while active, will now attract animals that will attack it whilst it is active. So that would suggest that there'll be no more of this running to an exotics vein, plonking down the extractors and running away so that the extractors don't get attacked.
Oh, we could try it.
Well, we'll be testing that for science.
Yeah. Especially for the radars, build an elevated platform, put the radar on, and scan. Don't do it on the ground anymore.
Yes, but that's not going to work for the extractors.
No.
Because unfortunately, they need to be on the floor.
Yeah. So we might go to build a hollowed out 4x4, build it around the exotics vein, and put extractor inside.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
done this in one of our Arctic prospects at some point.
Yes, we did. We did. Players' old extractors will exist in their current state, but are no longer craftable.
Yeah. So if you already had one and your prospect is still active, it will still work. However, you cannot craft them anymore. You only can craft the new ones.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Could you take us through the next wee bit for me, please?
Yeah. Yep. So the Biofuel Radar and Extractor, the tier 3 ones, craftable from the machining bench. They are both of them. So not only the extractor, but also the radar. They are powered by biofuel, with the result being it is slower than other versions. And they added a new interactable, so players can interact with the biofuel radar in new ways by directly accessing its inventory. Before you put the radar down and you started to scan, it had its built-in power source. Now you have to access the inventory, put a biofuel can in, and then you can start the scanning. Electric radar and extractor, these are the tier 4 ones, craftable from the fabricator as the old versions, but they are now powered using electricity, resulting in them operating at the same speed as previous versions. Do note, also the radar, the tier 4 radar, is now powered by electricity. So you need to either carry a biofuel generator with you, and Biofuel Can, if you want to scan on the road, so to say, or you have to bring a solar panel. And obviously electricity tool to hook them both up. And then we have the workshop radar and extractor. The IC001 radar has an internal power source and needs not currently to be powered. Interesting phrasing, not currently to be powered, maybe in the future. But for now, it's basically the same as the old radar. You just plonk it down and you start a scan.
Yes.
And it's faster than the tier 4 one.
Mm-hmm.
The IC001 extractor requires the IC001 power source workshop item to be powered. This workshop item, as said before, it costs 50 Rand to craft. It has enough power to mine 600 exotics, and once it's empty, you throw it away. You cannot bring it back up to the workstation anymore either. So basically, like the bundles of coal, arrows, whatever.
Yes.
Workshop repair items. You use it, you ditch it.
Yes. Yes.
And both the IC001 radar and extractor are faster than previous versions. Well, the radar is. The extractor tooltip says it's the same extra speed as the electric one, being plus 33% drill speed.
Yeah. Cool. Workshop purchasable MXC Biofuel Can. This item comes pre-filled with biofuel and can be returned to the station for free refilling.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
we like that.
As said before, you hit the ground running because you drop down with a full biofuel can.
Yes.
Saves you the time to fill up your first biofuel can, and it gives you a free biofuel can. 75 Rand to craft, so it might be worth taking it back up with you. Unless you're swimming in cash and you can't be bothered.
Well, free is everybody's favorite price, right?
True. It's free. It's just gonna cost you.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is the workshop purchasable IC001 power source, which is used to power the IC001 extractor. This item is a one-time use and cannot be returned to the station. Multiple power sources should be brought with you on drops where large amounts of exotics are expected to be extracted. Now, my question with that one is, will these items stack?
No idea.
So we'll have to test that. We'll have to test that for science.
Sure, why not? Well, I can tell you in a second. Let us see. No, they do not stack.
Oh. So that's going to be a possible. I mean, like, say, for example, you drop down and you're looking to try and get 1,000 exotics. Then you're looking at taking down 3, maybe 4 power sources, which is 3 or 4 slots.
600 exotics each. So if you are gonna, well, you're gonna take 2 if you have 1 or 2 extractors. Only if you have 3 people taking down extractor, or if you are taking down 3 extractors on your own, then you take 3 power sources with you.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of slots.
You wanna play solo? You're gonna have to put in the effort.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's going to be fun. Player loadouts next.
It will, and I'm not talking sarcastically. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mike Ladd has just joined us. Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Mike.
Good morning. Mike, welcome. Don't worry about the caps. It's fine. We got you. We know what you meant. Thousands wouldn't, but we did.
He's trying to make us hear him, like he's a while away, so he has to shout, otherwise we can't hear him.
Yeah, but we don't mind that. We don't mind that. I'm deaf anyway, so. So welcome, Mike. Good to see you. Nice to have you back.
Yep.
Next up, we have player loadouts now come down in the player's dropship and not their personal inventory. This was to fix issues with certain items requiring more space than any player could have. Multiple utility slot items, for example.
Yeah, so if you bring a radar and a scanner, if you bring it down in your inventory, both have to occupy the utility slot. But you can only have one item in the utility slot, so you run into an issue there. In order to mitigate this, they changed it. So now you bring everything in your dropship inventory. And yes, I've seen people being very confused about this and like, where did all my stuff go? I thought I fixed this bug, play a loadout bug, and still I drop down, there's nothing in. Well, it's in your inventory now.
Yeah, it's in your dropship inventory, not your personal inventory. Yeah. Okay. Added audio for all rustic items crafted on the new rustic decorations bench. Well, that's interesting.
Audio? What are we talking about? Like a creaking chair?
Maybe possibly a creaking chair, maybe a creaky door on a cabinet, maybe some fire audio for the candle.
It's going to be interesting indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike says in chat, so you can't put things in your hotbar until landing, I suppose.
That's how I read it as well, Mike. No longer, whilst still dropping down, already put everything your hotbar, put your modules in your suit and stuff. No, you have to wait till you are landed, and only then you can add stuff to your hotbar and to your inventory, suit inventory.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. Fixed an issue where creature body landing sounds. Oh, hang on. Let me start that again. Fixed an issue where creature body landing sounds wouldn't play when using a shotgun due to excess shotgun ammo projectiles interference.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, you shoot a gun, all you hear is the gunshot. You don't hear this very soft thud of the animal dropping dead.
Yes.
I mean, I could be mistaken, but for me, this kind of makes sense.
No, yes. I mean, if you have audio sounds for a certain thing, you certainly don't want it to be overridden by something else.
Just the volume of your shooting is going to be louder than the volume of the animal dropping dead.
Yes, but you don't want it to completely override it, so that you don't hear it at all.
Meh.
Well,
like I said, it could be me, but I don't really care about that too much, actually.
no, I can't say that I'm particularly perturbed by that. But the point of that is they fixed another issue.
Question is, was this an issue?
Well, it must have been an issue for some people.
Oh, true. Like, I'm shooting a shotgun, the shell goes off like right next to my ear, and now my ears are ringing, and I can't hear a fly landing 500 yards away.
Well, I can't hear a fly landing anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, improved footstep audio priority for creatures to be medium instead of low, giving them a higher chance of playing.
Yeah, animals running past. So, if you have multiple audio streams, the one with the highest priority is playing, the rest is not. So, if you run through bushes and you can't hear the deer running past you, maybe they changed that around. So, put the creature audio, so to say, to medium, so you can hear the deer running past instead of just the rustling of the bushes you're walking through.
Yeah, I have to say that the only animal that I've actually heard walking past is a buffalo. You do
if a chamois runs past, you hear it. If a deer runs past, you hear it, or at least I hear it.
Well, yeah, but I tend to only hear it if they're actually running past on, like stone or rock. But I have heard a polar bear walking outside. I have heard a buffalo walking around. But I have to be honest and say I'm hard of hearing anyway. So
yeah.
Mike in chat says, "Lol, some people are just too sensitive."
I know, right? I know.
Yeah. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items to go through. Improved footstep audio events to only play as long as necessary for the sound.
So the footstep audio events now only play as long as necessary.
Yeah, so if a deer runs past you, you'll only hear it as it runs past you. You won't hear it once it's running, once it's
footstep
away.
audio. Yeah. Or is it for the player? I don't know. Player footsteps.
Well, I always heard my own footsteps, because if you remember, I also said that the footsteps are now mixed with like a moving leather sound, like a fabric sound when you're actually, so you can hear the sound of your enviro suit as you move.
Which I find way more.
It's way more realistic.
Way more immersive and realistic is the one if you skip, hop, jump a downward slope, you hear the wind blowing against your helmet.
Yes.
I like that. It gives you
Yes.
this sense of speed, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Improved damage audio cues to scale with the intensity of the damage amount.
So, building pieces getting damaged by storm or fire, the more damage it takes in a tick, the harder the sound?
Possibly.
Would make sense.
The other thing that I thought of here was, like if we're speed running downhill and you'll jump downhill and maybe take 12 damage and your character goes, ugh. Whereas if you like fall off a cliff and you take 106 damage, then your character might actually go, ugh.
I don't know. That is not really the damage sound.
But we do take damage. We do have damage sounds on the character.
Oh yeah, you hear your bones creaking.
Yeah.
Like if you break your leg whilst jumping off a cliff, you actually hear it snap.
Yeah. That's kind of creepy, but it's a good sound effect.
Hey, it's realistic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't want my bones breaking without me hearing it. I'd rather hear it. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, improved river audio to address issues where other sounds could cut out when in an area with lots of rivers.
Wasn't something like this in last week's patch notes as well?
I'll be honest
if
and
you're
say I
on
can't
an
remember.
island, if you're on an island surrounded by rivers,
yes.
all you could hear is the water sound.
Yes.
So they improved on this a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Going back to the increased damage sound, Mike in chat says, "Love that snap sound."
Indeed, Mike. I mean, if you break someone's bones, you want to hear it snap. Otherwise, it's not fun for yourself, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, audio cues are all part of the game.
Yeah.
That is, of course.
Oh, wait, you're talking about game. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I hate to think how they got that snap audio, the breaking bones audio.
Oh, that's not so hard. Just break a bone and record the sound.
Yeah, break a bone and then cut off the screaming at the end of it.
Well, break a bone, preferably of something that isn't alive anymore.
Yeah, chicken bones. That sounds like a good one. All right, so we have 2 left. Do you want to take us through the last 2?
So, fixed stone stairs not having correctly named railing sockets, preventing rails from going on the right-hand side. So, yeah, apparently, if you have stairs, you can put a railing on, only on the left-hand side. However, I have to say, I've never been able to put railings on the stairs.
It's very difficult to put railings on a slope, full stop.
Yeah, but a ramp has no sockets for railing, but a stair is supposed to have. But again, I've never been able to. I've seen people talking about this, and I've seen YouTube and or pictures. People putting down stairs and putting a railing on, only on the left-hand side. But I myself have never been able to. Remember the prospect where we built a base next to the river, bridge over the river, and then branching down?
Yes.
And have the garden just above the water?
Yes.
I tried putting railings down there, so you could run up and down the stairs without having to fear of falling off. I could not. But I'll try again. For science.
Yep. We will
write it down on the list. Write down on the list.
We will test that for science.
Yeah.
Stair railings.
Yeah. And
Alrighty.
they fixed an issue where a game browser wouldn't reflect mission difficulty settings, difficulty insurance respawn. I've actually noticed something like this before, yeah. You select hard mode and then hardcore, you deselect hard mode, and it didn't properly update the stats for the mission in the mission screen, the mission
Yeah.
select screen.
Yeah.
So maybe this is what they are talking about, and if so, kudos for fixing it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, kudos for fixing any and all issues, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that we've done the this week's updates, I would like to quickly reflect on what we said we were going to test for science last week and how we got on with them. Yeah? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So we wanted to test the repair kit. The repair kits do work. You can repair things now like your Neve's pickaxe, your Ventura knife, your axe or your Naneo armor, and it works really well. So they do work. We tested the new booster area of effect and the back plaque that gave you 12 slots. Now, we tested both the brand new modules that you could take down.
strength boost module and the healing boost module.
Yes, and neither of them worked at all.
Yeah, this is correct.
Actually, that's not quite true because the healing boost module worked for the person who was carrying it, not the team.
Well, as in the person carrying it got the icon for the buff. However,
And
it did not affect the timer of
no,
the debuff.
no. So it would show up in your icon buff debuff things, but it didn't actually do anything.
And for the player next to you, it didn't do anything either.
Exactly. And for the strength booster, didn't work at all.
No, it didn't work either.
It didn't work. It didn't give you the strength icon. It certainly didn't give you the strength boost, and it didn't give your teammates the boost. So neither of those two brand new modules worked, period, at all.
So maybe in next week updates they'll fix it.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping a bit that they would fix it in this week's update, but then again, they did work a lot on fixing the loadout problems. So I can understand that they had less time to fix these new modules. So
yes,
I'll cut them some slack.
Yeah, well, they've had issues with connectivity and people losing their stuff. So,
Yeah.
We totally understand that. Some things have to, excuse me, some things have to take priority over others. But we will be looking to see whether or not we get that correction in a later update.
Yeah.
So the new booster mods do not work. So don't bother using them.
Mike says maybe not many are using those modules really. Well, especially the carry module thingy could be interesting. But yeah, it's taken up another slot, module slot in your suit as well. So I don't think indeed many people will be using them at all. But
no, well, I don't think anybody's going to be using them if they don't actually work.
if they don't work, no one is using them, no.
Yeah, Mike in chat says maybe not many are using those modules really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very, very true. Again, I will repeat, nobody is going to use them if they don't bloody well work.
Yeah.
So that kind of negates the issue of having given them to us in the first place. The next one that we were going to look at was the
backpack,
campfire.
12 slot.
Oh yeah,
the 12 slot backpack. Oh,
yes.
It works like a charm. Trust me, I've been doing mining. My character is a mining build. So you normally are in with a green backpack. But now if I go mine a cave, so I mine a cave and then I run out of slots in my inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put the 12 slot backpack in, and I can keep on going. I have another 7 slots I can fill up.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, especially with the new mining suit.
Yeah.
So yes, important. Very good. The next one we were going to look at was
Something
the
with campfires.
Yeah, the campfire not being recognized as lit. Now that still happens on occasion.
Yeah.
However, it tends to be more to do with the distance of the campfire from the fireplace, the bedroll from the fireplace. Now, what we do is, if you watch our streams, we have a pretty standard setup for the base, and we actually now put the campfires on the outside of the building in its own little annex, and we use 3 campfires, sometimes 4. And so what we were finding was the campfire, what we would do is we would put the campfires in a triangle, 2 at the back and 1 at the front. And if you were trying to go to sleep with the campfires at the back lit, then it would tell you they weren't lit. And obviously that was, down to the fact that they were out of range. But occasionally you still do get the fact that the campfire is not recognized as lit when you're trying to go to sleep. But it's an easy fix. It's an easy fix. You deactivate it.
Activate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not that takes a huge amount of effort to rectify, although it's still a problem.
Yeah.
The next 2 were questions that were given through comments on the video. And the first was shotgun spread.
They spread out quite a bit. So if you want to kill a pig, you basically have to be pretty close. You want to kill a bear with a shotgun, you have to shoot him right in the face and hope he dies. Otherwise, he'll make sure the distance will increase. Let's put it that way. Yes. The critical damage on 1 pellet is 300. Not sure how many pellets go into 1 shell, but 1 shot in a bear is hard. 1 shot in a polar bear with a shotgun, forget it.
Yeah, 1 shot in a brown bear with a shotgun is difficult enough.
Yeah, especially the higher level ones.
Yes. Now the other thing that you tested, because you were the one with the shotgun stuff, was whether or not you can take down multiple animals with a shotgun at the same time in the same area. So if you've got if you've got 2 wolves attacking you and you have a shotgun, can you take them both out with the shotgun at the same time?
If they stand right next to one another, yes.
Yes. If there's
if they're slightly coming in a slightly different angle, no. Because if they're close enough to take enough pellets, then the spread is so narrow they have to stand right next to one another.
Yes.
If they're slightly further apart, it means you have to shoot earlier to have enough spread. But then less pellets hit.
Yes.
What does work, by the way, in this we tested on the Scorpion boss mission. Scorpions. If you have a whole bunch of scorpions, with 1 shot you can kill multiple scorpions.
Yes.
We're talking about the white scorpions, the skeleton scorpions,
Yes.
because they have very little HP.
Yes.
So every pellet hitting one of those kills that scorp.
Yes.
Obviously, they're all on the ground together, and you have like a two-dimensional spread.
Mm-hmm.
So don't expect to kill like 10 skelly scorps with one shot, because some of them will go high, some of the pellets will go low. But the horizontal spread, you will take out multiple scorpions if they are clumped together.
Yes. Yes. So that.
Talking about the shotgun, the
Mhm.
Larqual Martinez mercenary backpack is worth it if you use a shotgun. It has 25% shotgun ammo capacity. So instead of 8 shells, you can load 10. It has 25% reload speed, so your reload with the 10 shells is the same as the 8 shells without this backpack, so you're not losing anything there. Plus, it gives you 25% more damage. So
which is always a bonus. We love getting more damage,
exactly.
don't we?
Exactly. It'll give you 375 instead of 300 on a crit shot.
Yes. So, so I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're just about done.
We had one more thing to test, but it was like higher tier of tier 4 with extractor or even radar.
Or was it not the deep ore scanner? I can't remember.
No,
I didn't have it written down.
The deep vein extractor Biofuel Can, does it or does it not auto resume upon prospect resume?
Oh, that
If
was
there's a
it.
biofuel can in.
That was it.
I have placed a deep vein drill, put a biofuel can in, walked away, but we finished the mission in that session, so we haven't tested that one.
Yes, that's true.
We will be doing it at some point if we have a longer mission where we have to have multiple sessions, and if we remember, I'll put down a deep drill with a biofuel can in it.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not making any promises because I tend to forget stuff, but I'll try.
Well,
I'll try to remember.
That's why I've taken to write them down. So for
Exactly.
this week's testing, we will be testing the active radar attacks and whether or not we need to build a base around the deep vein. And we will be testing the stair railings. If there's anything else that you can, for the listeners or viewers of this video, if you have any suggestions or any questions, please post them in the chat very soon, because we are going to be finishing very soon, and we will then be moving on to doing the live stream to use these exotic extractor scanners and locations. So,
And if you want to test it, to have us test it at a later point, you can always put it in the comments.
oh yes, absolutely. So, Mike in chat says, I love science testing. I'll be watching. I think your plan is good. I have no other ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I would say to that, Mike, that you don't have any other ideas yet.
Exactly.
Emphasis on the word yet, because something will always occur to you later. But for right now, we are going to finish up with the update stream. We are probably going to take maybe a 5-10 minute ish break, so that we can refill drinks and necessary things for doing the stream. So thank you very much to Plain Jane for joining us. It was excellent to have you in. Thank you very much for Mike for joining us. We will be doing next week's update at the usual time on the Friday at 5 p.m. British summertime. I don't know exactly how the
GMT.
GMT. Thank you. I don't know how that works for other regions and time zones and stuff, but for me, we will be doing next week's update on the Friday at 5 o'clock in the evening. So we look forward to seeing you then. That is usually followed by live gameplay of whether or not we have a new mission or something new to test, like these extractions, exotic extractions. So, yes, we will see you very soon. Thank you very much for joining us, Plain Jane. Thank you very much for joining us, Mike, and anybody else who was lurking in the background. It's so good to have you. Leave a comment, leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, please hit that button, and don't forget, hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any new content. Until then, it's good night from me.
And good night from her.
And we will see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.